Have you ever thought about how to break through a narcissist's mask for good? You've come to the right place because today we're going to talk about surprising moves that can confuse narcissists. Think about the times you've been with a narcissist in the past. What changes did you go through because of those relationships? As we look for the best way to confuse narcissists, think about these questions. If you were in a bad relationship with a narcissist, you might not have known how much they were controlling you. No matter how hard you tried, the narcissist used up all of your resources and energy, leaving you feeling tired and alone. Narcissistic abuse is when someone gives and gives, but the narcissist takes and takes without offering anything back. This destroys relationships and causes them to fall apart. Some people might think that what you've been through is just drama, but survivors know better. Narcissists work on a different level and can't look inside themselves or take responsibility for their actions. They are always looking for new sources to feed their never-ending hunger, and they get rid of those that don't meet their ever-changing standards. The next victim was usually someone who didn't know the narcissist was manipulative or had done bad things in the past. Whether it was an old friend or someone they had just met, they became the narcissist's new target, happily unaware of the cycle that was about to trap them. The narcissist's failure to face their own problems and flaws kept this cycle of abuse going. They were always afraid of being hurt, and they used lies and manipulation to keep up the appearance that they were better than everyone else. It was like being on an emotional roller coaster with them because you never knew which version of them you'd meet next. In the end, your friendship with a narcissist was never easy. You were always worried because you didn't know what each day would bring because Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde were always fighting. What then took place? You were lost and confused as you tried to figure out why your partner wouldn't talk to you or why you felt like you were being emotionally abused. It felt like you were looking for a needle in a haystack until you finally found it, the word a narcissist, and what it really means. Narcissists didn't think you would find out who they really are, and they didn't know it. They didn't think you were smart enough because they thought you'd never put things together, do study, or really try to understand. They thought the same thing when they first got you involved with them. In the beginning, when you met the narcissist, they probably paid close attention to you. They were watching what you did and writing down your goals, strengths, weaknesses, and relationships from the past. They carefully gathered all of this information, like a spy, to make a profile that they could use against the person. They quickly chose, this person is perfect for my needs. They will give me the approval, energy, and power I need, for a short time or a long time. They carefully made a mask to hide their true intentions and then used lies and manipulation to trap you. They knew that your health and resources would slowly run out every day that you stayed under their control. This was something they had done many times before. When problems in life, like illness, losing your job, or money problems, finally wore you down, they threw you away without a second thought and went on to the next person who didn't know what was going on. But here's what they didn't anticipate: the incredible resilience of the human spirit. They couldn't predict your determination to rise from the abuse and rebuild your shattered identity despite their daily cruelty and the chaos they caused. They thought they would either break you or maintain their control indefinitely, leaving you in a perpetual state of trauma and subjugation. However, you had an inner strength they didn't count on. You started a brave journey of recovery, self-discovery, and acceptance. By learning about narcissism, you reclaimed your self-worth and realized you deserved love, happiness, and fulfillment. No longer trapped by the manipulative bonds of codependency, you broke free from the trauma bonds and saw the unstable situations for what they really were. Calls, texts, and emails from them no longer shook the solid foundation of stability, independence, and self-awareness you had rebuilt from the ground up. This wasn't the end of your story, it was the beginning of true freedom. The narcissist wanted to keep you off balance, stuck in a trauma bond. A concept you hadn't even imagined and one of the toughest challenges you've ever faced. With no prior knowledge of narcissism, you were caught off guard by this dynamic, leaving you feeling empty inside. You were constantly thinking about the manipulator day and night. They analyzed every move you made, judged how quickly you responded, and dismissed your explanations with a simple "okay, or okay." You became the unpaid helper, the constant apologizer, and the endless checklist, all while being trapped in the narcissistic fog of the trauma bond. When the narcissists grew bored, their interest in you faded as well. They felt entitled to manipulate you and were indifferent to your needs, disappearing for long periods while neglecting their manners at home. They didn't anticipate your resilience and determination to reclaim your life, understand narcissism, and regain your independence. I empathize with those who have been left behind. Regardless of who ended the relationship, you are left with the scars of a toxic environment. Narcissistic abuse is hard to understand unless experienced firsthand, but you ultimately gained the crucial insight needed to break free from their control and start your healing journey. While they clung to a veneer of perfection, you woke up to your own self-worth. No longer would you allow yourself to be confined and manipulated by their stratagems. Now, free from their domination, you blaze your own trail of growth and self-discovery. Your mind's eye was no longer darkened by the deception which once ruled it. Closure was an irrelevant issue for the narcissist since self-reflection and accountability were foreign to them. Admitting error didn't coincide with their wavering self-esteem. In their relentless pursuit of perfection, they abandoned and injured others without sorrow, spreading their poison outside intimate relationships. Often, children especially suffer such misunderstanding, bearing emotional scars. Healing starts with cutting yourself off. You found the strength to escape their toxic grip, realizing that reclaiming your life was possible despite their dominance. They continue to harm others, but their influence no longer touches you. The harsh lessons you learned made it clear that their need for admiration and control won't change, and you refuse to tolerate such dysfunction again. Now, your resilience shines brightly. The narcissist never expected you to rebuild happiness from their destruction, but you did. You've grown stronger and wiser, overcoming hardships and deceit without their support. Narcissists often avoid responsibility and prefer to drag others down with them. This approach is common among them, but you've chosen a different path, showing your courage and spirit. But when the narcissist has thrown you away, what happens? They go on, leaving the wreckage behind them. As for their attempts at hoovering you back in, which is a process called hoovering, don't let them fool you. You're fortunate if you aren't touched by hoovering. That means while the narcissist remains stuck in their own dysfunctional being and never grows a bit, you're getting better and bigger. After being treated like trash and thrown on the ash heap, you're apt to feel utterly lost and cast adrift. By fits and starts, out of despair arose little bits of hope, registering the pain, looking at your own assumptions, and clarifying where you were or should be. Although you may always carry the scars from that relationship, it didn't annihilate you. Like all narcissism-tainted relationships, it had to break up under its own terrific weight. Some roads end in blind alleys, while others take circuitous routes toward revelation. I dare to remake each fresh day my understandings of both myself and others, a greater gap from that poisonous past, so too higher discernment and courage. Bit by bit, you won your own narrative back. Courage was demanded by the work of liberation, and no contact called for sacrifice, but it was achievable. In circumstances where no escape was feasible, strategies like gray rock, the rock that's too dull to feel, could greatly reduce opportunities for new injuries. Above all, the narcissist never thought you had what it took, the gumption or smarts to escape their iron grip, reject their haughty demand for admiration, and thrive beyond them. But you did and do. When they moved to greener pastures to enthrall and ensnare a fresh admirer, you set off on the truer, more challenging journey of authenticity and recovery.